Okay, let's do this. I do have some notes here if I get stuck. So, which I don't see why I would get stuck, but you know how it is, how your brain just zones out whenever you need to come up with a answer at this very moment. Okay, so let's start with the first question. There's going to be um, a longer format one and a shorter format one. We'll start with the longer one first. What inspired Rue St? Where did the initial spark come from? Okay, so I saw this very large void that is and has been unaddressed for like ever in the product design space. And that large void is of motifs lacking the female figure, women, well, just people in general, but I'm tackling specifically the female form. Um, in a realistic sense, or in a surrealistic way, the way that I illustrate. There's tons of cartoony or abstract motifs out there for the product space, but I don't really like that style. Um, I want something a little bit more adult feeling and just more mature. And so I was just like, okay, this is a space that I'm going to at least attempt to start filling that void. And hang on, let me just check the question real quick. No, okay, so it doesn't address it. I want to tell you why this needs addressed, why I think it's been ignored. And I think it has to do with the fact that drawing the female form or any human, no matter the sex, is technically difficult. And I think that is, in large part, the reason why I don't see the motifs that I like out there. Because the surrealistic art that I do, it requires more intent, more attention to detail and precision, especially to proportions and accuracy. And I know that that is one of the reasons why I don't see what I want to see out there. And so I'm here to fill it. Okay. That's how I feel about it. And I know there's something else to it, but that's largely it. It's like I look out into the sea of motifs on art for product, and it's just not what I want to see. And I know there's demand for it. It's just there's not the skill out there for it. It's a more technically difficult subject to tackle. And with the cartoony and the abstract, you can see their attempts in making it look more realistic, but you can tell that it's just been traced because they don't understand the shading and the contouring to make it look more realistic with their coloring and their attempts to etch or stroke marks or what have you. They're just not getting it right. It just still looks flat and unreal. So, okay, what's the next question? Uh, if you had to describe the feeling of this collection in just a few words, what would it be? Feminine and bit edgy and mysterious, but mostly feminine, divine, like heroine type feel, couture. I would use those words. Tell me about the woman who lives in this world. Who is she, and what kind of evening is she having? So, this is a woman in her world. She is attending a soiree at a private estate, a glamorous event that is a private party. And the theme is not quite masquerade ball, but bring your favorite theater mask. And hers is on one of those fans that that it's theatrical, but it also serves as a mask. I can't put it in any other way without starting. I'm getting lost in the boning and the detailing, so I'll save that. Um, but yeah, her evening, what I'm illustrating here, I love doing illustrative art pieces. As right here, you could tell she's probably in a garden or a patio, and you can see her parasol in the background. And I don't want to get too much into the design elements because I know that's going to come later. But that boning and that piping, that the black and white lining is carried throughout. So I'll just leave it right there. Okay. The name Rue St feels very evocative. What does it mean to you? Okay, so I was originally going to title this collection To Carl with Love, and that was in reference to Karl Lagerfeld, because this collection is kind of bits and pieces of my favorite 90s glam runway pieces that I've picked and chose quite intentionally, quite methodically, and a lot of the elements of the 90s glam runway were in thanks to Karl Lagerfeld. And so I designed in a way that a lot of these pieces and elements he would have used in his collections, but I didn't feel it to be appropriate to name it To Carl with Love, because it's not specifically just, you know, an ode to Chanel and Karl, but it's to that whole era, like Versace and Valentino and Dior's theatrics of the 90s, that haute couture. It's really kind of a nod to all of that, but not just the 90s. I'm not just reliving the 90s or reviving the 90s. These are timeless pieces. I chose these elements and these features because they're things that when I dress up in formal wear, these are the elements and pieces that I'm choosing no matter the era. I think you could say I'm very much drawn to perhaps the 1950s era, but I'm still drawn even further back into time to the bone corsets and things like that. So really vintage, timeless appeal in general. So I hope that addresses the title. Like, I didn't finish the connection. If you don't know Karl that well, I'm sorry. So Rue St refers to Karl's atelier that in Paris, the street that it was on, and I believe it's still there. And I thought that was kind of a passive way of giving recognition to him without overtly stating, hey, this is for you, because it's really so much more than that. How did you approach this design from a sketch or concept perspective? Was there a specific moment where the visual direction clicked? I already knew the heroine theme, the main subject theme. I knew that who she was. I knew who I was being inspired by. I had a solid foundation before I even started, because this void in the design space for this type of motif has just been burnt into my brain. It's like, I must do this. So it was already predetermined before I even got started. So it's been a burning desire for a while. You have this signature mix of surrealism and realism. Where does that come through most strongly here? I think it comes through most strongly through the illustrative piece itself, because you can tell, like, she looks like perhaps she's standing in a patio or a garden, but she's not quite earthbound, and the seamless patterns kind of just fade, in and out, and so you can't quite tell if she's in a dream or on another plane type of feeling. And so I think it mixes quite nicely. And then these filigree or fern-like elements, they kind of add this otherworldly effect. And it's just one of those features. It's one of those doodles that I automatically start drawing when I'm just sitting there taking notes and just kind of letting the thoughts brew. It's an automatic response, and it's so natural that I decided to just start including them, those elements, into all of my artwork, because it's so distinctly me, and it's an identifying feature for my artwork. So I think my pieces naturally have a surrealist effect because they don't always quite feel grounded. They almost always feel like it could be a dream in a way. Oh, I'm getting lost here. Where did that other question go? Walk me through your materials and media. How did watercolor, pencil, and digital work come together for this one? Okay, so this one is completely marker. And I usually don't just draw in marker. While I love it, but it's so final. And it's a bit more difficult to blend with marker. There's really no blending. I mean, I have the alcohol markers where you can do some blending, but it very quickly eats up the materials of the paper. But this was so perfect in that everything's just so has this great stark contrast. While there are some light elements to it, the marker was just the perfect medium to be bold and to put out there what I was thinking. And so that's what you're seeing here. And then the digital elements, it's just, it's all of my artwork, of course, scanned in and digitalized. And then the layouts accomplished in Photoshop. The palette is refined and restrained. What emotions were you trying to convey through these tones? Limited palette is always much more luxurious and sophisticated. And this is, again, where I referenced Carl. His color palette was very much this. The buttermilk tone here, I specifically referenced one of his color palettes, and you could swap out that buttermilk tone with this very light, just kiss of a rose pink. And I didn't feel that was appropriate for here, so I went with the buttermilk. There's an intriguing tension between softness and strength in this character. Can you talk about that duality? That's me. That character coming through is me. Softness and strength. I'm able to express this through the feminine features. She is very, very soft and very womanly. And with femininity, it naturally feels soft. But the duality comes in with the strength and the contrast through these hard lines and through the contrasting colors. And I love when you can mix two things together that don't go together necessarily. I like that controversy. It creates such a great effect visually. What do you think this collection says about femininity today? Femininity today, I'm all about addressing the people that my creations are for. What that means beyond what I'm doing is for somebody else to answer. I'm fully into embracing feminine style and to really exploring what being a feminine person is and means and looks like. And I'm a girly girl. I'm obviously very comfortable not being so girly. Again, that duality. It's all about who you want to be today. Who or what feature do you want to highlight, in the moment. So, give me girly any day of the week. I'm that person. And was there a specific cultural or fashion reference that guided you, a designer, an era, or a film? Well, I feel like it kind of beat that horse. So we're gonna move on. You got it. You totally got it. You often describe your work as opulent country luxury. How does Rue fit in with that philosophy? I think opulent country luxury, we're referring to like old English country or old European country, not like the southern country of today. And that fits in with the, this design style being timeless. These characteristics will forever live in time and in a space where luxury and fashion intersect. And what part of this collection challenged you most creatively? I think it was deciding what pieces to include that wouldn't take away from the main event, the heroine, the character. And I feel like I nailed the choices with that, because the variegated snake plant and the piped parasol, along with the piped or the bone fan mask, they all balance and coordinate so beautifully and have strong elements in each one of them without still stealing the show from her. I think just deciding to keep it to those three might have been the most challenging part. I knew that I needed to have a very simplified ditzy pattern to coordinate with whatever I was doing. The fleur-de-lis style pattern, it's always going to be a good choice. What part of this collection, oh, we already did that one. Was there a happy accident, something unexpected that became essential to the final look? Happy accident. I think it was how well the marker responded, because I was planning on bringing in colored pencil. That was definitely the happy accident. I felt like it was going to be such a hard contrast. I was going to need to come in with some light shading to kind of soften those edges from the marker. I would definitely say that's a happy accident, because I didn't think I could be so fulfilled with just doing it in marker, and saying just marker is such an understatement now. If you could place this collection in a dream setting, a Parisian boutique, a runway, a tablescape, where would it live? It's so runway. It's anything related to runway couture type pieces. I could see something like this living in somebody's beautiful private sitting space. I can see elements on this on luxury purses. Could you see that fan? Even a half a fan on like a bigger Neverfull type bag with this the half drop ditzy pattern behind it. Like, that would be so beautiful to have the tote with half the fan right there in that ditzy pattern on black leather. There's so many different spaces, but even this here, the vintage stamp style effect repeat pattern, that could easily be in somebody's gorgeous sitting room again. Like, I'm definitely thinking of more luxury spaces. Okay, sorry. I need to like have a check after I answer each one of these. When you look at Rue St, what emotion does it give you personally? It tells me to make space in my calendar for a glamorous night out. That's what it says. That's what it feels like. It says, oh, it's time to put some beautiful heels on and go through my closet and find just the perfect dress. Or even maybe go shopping for that perfect dress. Who do you see as the ideal brand or company partner for this collection? Really? I mean, obviously, it would fit so well with Chanel, but any luxury brand or high-end brand that's looking for a little bit more formality and looking to market a high-end product that needs more sophisticated design included for the product line itself. I can see this working for so many different brands in the higher end space. Okay, how does this body of work evolve or build upon what you've created before? Everything is a stepping stone. It's always building on something bigger, grander. It's really a big picture thing for me. I really am thinking about legacy and my licensing library as a legacy piece that is a part of my brand for generations to come. I'm definitely building a collection or an album, if you will, of something that I can pass on. It's always expanding what I offer to a very specific market. Like it's not for everybody. It's for people that want sophistication, that are high end, that appreciate the finer things. What kind of products or categories do you imagine Rue St shining on? I think I already addressed those. Tell me what product you're thinking about, and I'll show you a way to put it on there in a beautiful way. For clients who collect or license your work, what makes Rue St different from your past collections? The fact that I'm really going headfirst into tackling that feminine motif that everybody seems to be avoiding or dancing around. That's what sets it apart. If this collection had a soundtrack, what would it sound like? Oh, I'm such a music person, and it ranges. I'm from one end to the other for music that I like. I'm gonna have to think about this, so give me a second. I'm gonna have to come back to that one. It's one of those answers that I can't just bring an answer to the surface of my mind, because I listen to so much music. I'm just shuffling through different music and I can't even find where I'm going. So maybe I'll answer that in the comments at some point here. What do you hope people feel when they see it for the first time? I hope they get a little twinkle in their eye for something beautiful and girly, and a reason to dress up. Looking back, what did Rue St teach you about yourself as an artist? That I need to do more of these motifs because I really enjoy it. I love doing these mini collections because I'm able to put something out there and say something in a week, as opposed to working on something that takes longer than that. Because, you know, when you're working on a piece, if it's a big collection, sometimes your voice gets tired by the end. And with mini collections like this, my voice is not tired. It's still really excited about it. What's next for you after this? Are there threads from Rue St you're carrying into the future? You bet. You bet you can see more feminine motifs like this in my classic dawn surrealism style that you know and love. You can totally look for more of this in the future, and I'm really excited about it. So this was fun. I think I did great with this. I like this type of style.